Wow, what a great night for all of us to be together. Our guest tonight is a master songwriter and performer. His songs have been hit records for the likes of Leroy Parnell, Susie Bogus, Emmylou Harris, Patty Loveless, and of course, Garth Brooks. He is a Grammy-nominated songwriter. He has received the Academy of Country Music Award for songwriting, and he has been inducted into the Nashville Songwriters Hall of Fame. No one on this planet writes music the way that this man writes music. But I can tell you for all of us, as far as we are concerned, nobody performs his songs better than he performs his songs. I can say this, it's true. For all of us on this stage, he is our musical hero, he is our friend, and he is our brother. I present to you the great Tony Arata.
Wow. Yeah, no kidding. I was just thinking as Carol was giving me that wonderful introduction, I was reminded of one of my favorite Lyle Lovett songs. It could be all downhill from here. So, hey, Jimmy, not yet. Anyway, it's such an honor to be here with y'all this evening. Thank you for having me back. That devil of a sun comes up, the cold armor comes down, and I stumbled down a road so rough, but I'm holding my ground day by day. I'll survive, oh, but I fly night by night. Trouble is running about deep as a river. Pray they'll roll on by. Evening comes, honey, and I'll be delivered to that sweetest side day by day. I'll survive. Oh, but I fly night by night. Go on, John. Comes up, the cold hammer comes down, and I stumbled down a road so rough, but I'm holding my ground day by day. I'll survive, oh, but I fly night by night. Thank y'all. Stevie will relax as the night goes on. He's not always this uptight, so it's a pleasure. Oh, man, so good to be back here. This song is now, it is. I'm free tomorrow night, too. I don't know what y'all are doing, but I'd love to be back here. This song was done some years ago by a young lady that now resides. She came to her senses. She's a Georgia girl now. She lives in Dallas, and her name is Patty Loveless. And when Jamie and I first moved to Nashville, she was just getting started. She was on the radio with her first single. It was a classic from Dallas Frazier called "If My Heart Had Windows," and I fell in love with her right then and there, and I've loved her ever since. And she's been very kind to do some songs over the years, including this one. And when this was on the charts, I actually got invited to sing this song with Patty one night in front of about, 25,000 people or so. And I learned that night how important context is. Because after the show, Patty came up to me and she said, what'd you think, Tone? And I said, Patty, I'll never forget it. And I said, what about you? She said, I'll never forget it either. But that's where context comes in, because how I meant it wasn't the way she meant it at all. But as I found out, when somebody from the Commonwealth of Kentucky tells you they mean it. And so I've never been asked back to sing this song with Patty. And she obviously never did forget about it. But anyway, I love her, and she's, as they say, we're still friends. It's a song called "Here I Am." Don't do it, darling. Don't you dare look in there. You said you didn't want to see me, but you've been looking for me everywhere. You know that you're gonna find me if you keep on drinking fast. 'Cause honey, I'm right there waiting on you at the bottom of your glass. And here I am. Here I am. I'm in the bourbon and the water that burn you just like a brand. Here I am. It ain't working, my darling. Hard as you may try, you keep hearing those words you told me in every man's goodbye. You know that you're just one step from another one being gone. I know I've seen them all unravel, watching you all along. And here I am. Here I am. I'm in every lie you're hearing that burn you just like a brand. Here I am. Darling, I got over you passing me over a long, long time ago. And my pride was so much stronger when I was younger. Now I would rather have you know that here I am. Here I am. I still carry that flame for you, burning me like a brand. Here I am. Mr. Steve Cunningham. Wow. Should have practiced. That was really good. You know, I was just sitting here thinking while we were playing that. Jamie and I have been married for 40 years. And I'm overwhelmed sometimes at how things have changed in those 40 years. It's just remarkable. I mean, 40 years ago, where would I have been? I'd have been standing in front of a microphone somewhere in Georgia singing a song with a band. And now, all these years later, you can't teach some people anything. But anyway, this song will always be special to me because of what inspired it. I will always remember when Jamie's folks came out to see what this fellow she was thinking about marrying did for a living. And fathers, all of y'all out there with daughters, how proud he must have been at the prospect of his baby girl marrying a guy that was a guitar player in the house band at a place called Chuckles Lounge in the Victory Drive Bowling Center in Thunderbolt, Georgia. That just reeks of success. There's some of the best musicians I've ever heard in my life up here with me this evening. I'm going to feature them on this one. She's the difference between a day that ain't half bad and that stone cold blue ribbon single best one you ever had. And I'm telling anybody here who might want to listen, she's the difference between feeling sorry for yourself and feeling like you just wouldn't want to be nobody else. Do you feel right bad for anyone who isn't? She's the difference. I tell you, she's a difference, man, in everything I do. I went from couldn't win, I just can't lose. Her love got me thinking about the sweet distinction between being in a rut, being in a groove. I went from nothing all the way to nothing missing. And brother, she's the difference. She's the difference. She's why everything has changed. And when I'm in her company, man, this old life ain't the same. It's bigger, better, sweeter, more like living. She's the difference. What you say, John? She's a difference in everything I do. I went from couldn't win just can't lose. Her love got me thinking about the sweet distinction between being in a rut, being in a groove. I went from nothing all the way to nothing missing. Brother, she's the difference. She's the difference. She's the difference. Oh man, they pretty good. I wrote this with a dear friend of mine, Mr. Leroy Parnell, and I'm going to tell you this much: it took us as long to write this song as it's going to take me to sing it, because there's some songs you just know exactly what they're about. And I want to send this out to one of the truest souls I've ever met, and I met him because I came up here or down here over these years, and his name is Mr. David Johns. Where are you? Are you sitting out there? He's probably out there working is what he's doing.
Yeah.
David Johns right here.
Yeah.
What a great soul. And he was hoping his daughter would be here this evening. She's unfortunately not able to make it, but this is for my buddy Dave. I held you when I saw you and still could not believe. Face to face with an angel who was staring right back at me. Placed in these working man's arms by the hands of the Father. How Mary, full of grace, blessed the love between daddies and daughters. Tucking you in, reading Goodnight Moon every night. Then kneeling down, saying our prayers side by side. Down on my knees with you, I swear I've never stood taller. Bless those angels that brought you in the love between daddies and daughters. Every time I see you now, I can't remember nothing about anything before. Yours was not the only life. It began on the day you were born. Bless those angels that brought you in the love between daddies and daughters. You will always reside in my heart's most sacred place. Safe from all time and distance, there you will remain. The faith you've had in me made me and my faith that much stronger. So for the lessons you brought me, the blessings you brought me, oh, Mary full of grace, bless the love between daddies and daughters. Thank you so very much. You know, there was a time when nobody knew where Tybee Island was or Georgia Southern. That's all changed. I've always known where both of them are. They hold a very special place in my heart. It's been a long, long time ago, but I still remember the first day that I left for college, and my mom and daddy, how kind they were to me that day, walking me out to the car. My mama walked me out, gave me a kiss, started crying, and went back inside. But my old man stuck around. And just right before I was to pull out, he motioned for me to roll down the window, and I did. And he stuck a checkbook through the window. And he said, son, when you get up there to college, if there's something you need, you get it. And then I started crying because I was thinking my daddy was not a man of means, but what a kind gesture. So I pulled out, made my way up to Statesboro, and as I was pulling in there on Highway 67, I looked out my window and I saw this place called Johnson's Beverage Mart. My daddy's words came back to me. And I said, I'd bet $1 there's some stuff in there I might need. Maybe some stuff the boys I just met at the dorm need as well. So I went in frequently, and but I couldn't in good conscience, write beer on the memo line of a check. So I wrote books, and I would just write Johnson's. I was at college, it seemed to follow that I'd be in there buying books. And I got away with this for, I don't know, a couple of bank statements. And I called home to check on my mama and daddy. And my mama answered the phone. She said, hey, honey, your daddy wants to talk to you. And I knew he did, because I could hear him yelling right before he picked up the phone. And all he said was, what are you trying to do, build a library? You've been in love since the day you met her. Been busy planning your sweet forever. Right up till she sent you that old Dear John letter. But don't it make the beer taste better? Work like a dog 24/7. Boss man belittling your every last single effort. He got promoted, what'd you get, Jimmy? You got severed. But don't it make the beer taste better? Don't it make it sweeter, sweeter than it was before? Well, want it, make it want it just a little bit more. You take your heartaches, your hard times, throw them all together. just make the beer taste better. Go, Steve! I'm pretty sure I heard his ankle bracelet go off. I know he's outside the perimeter. Last night I dreamed I was standing in this long line up in heaven where St. Pete tells you which way you're going to be heading. I'm afraid I was assigned a south by south direction, straight down. Where the beer tastes better, don't it make it sweeter, sweeter than it was before. Well, I want it, make it want it more. Take your heartaches, your hard times, throw them all together. Sprinkle in one or two of your miserable failed endeavors. Bad luck and bad breaks, all kinds of bad weather. And tell me, don't it all just make the beer taste better?
Don't worry, Tony will open up too later in the show. He'll get to loosen up. Hey, John Carroza has been playing with us off and on a little bit the last couple of years. And what you may not know about John over there, he's a fabulous songwriter. And so I thought tonight, for the first time ever, Home by Dark, we would let John play an original composition. Will you please make him feel welcome, Mr. John Carroza.
I'm just going to stand here for a little bit, and another 5-10 minutes, y'all will forget how good that was. And then we'll continue on with our program. How about Mr. John Carosa right there? I love going and visiting my oldest sister when we go home to Savannah. She lives out in Clio, Georgia. She and Eddie never even knew there was COVID. They never leave the farm. So I'll always remember, I thought it was great when she told me, she said, I can't wait for this to all be over so we can get back to living again. And I went, Mickey, you don't go anywhere now. But anyway, every time I'd go out there, I love, there's a little church right in this little triangle that is split in the road. And they always say a little bitty church, but they have a huge marquee sign out front. And they always have something interesting written on there. And I always love to see what it is. One day I rode by there, and the only thing on there was, it just said 2 words. But it didn't say what the 2 words were. I said, well, you write songs, why don't you figure out what the 2 words are? But after you hear this young lady sing here tonight, I know what the 2 words should have been. Carol Ford. A single auburn ray, signal night had given way, and a new day had arrived. But the fight still lingered on. Lord, it should have long been dead and gone, but it was being kept alive by a fool who thinks he knows it all, but who isn't even smart enough to realize that if all you want is the last words, why not once make those last words, I apologize.
She has really come off the track. Girl ain't holding nothing back. She won't let nothing go. Now she won't bend and she won't move. I wonder what she hopes to prove and what she's got left to show. Just a house and home divided, and 2 hearts all but decided on their goodbyes. Ooh, yeah, yeah. But if all she wants is the last word, why not for once make the last words, I apologize.
There's a million angry words and things we only say so we can hurt the other side. And maybe every now and then we could think of giving in. Nah, that's just one thing that a fool will never try. But if all you want is the last word, why not once make the last words? Hey, if all you want is the last words, why not once make the last words? I apologize. Miss Carol Ford.
Tony Arata. Amen.
That's how I'm going to sing in my next life. You know, Jamie and I moved from Thunderbolt, Georgia, back in '86. And not a lot of people move from Thunderbolt, Georgia to Nashville, Tennessee on any given day. So I guess the local paper thought that was worth a little feature article. So they sent this young man over to interview me. And I'll always remember, we were standing outside. And everybody in Savannah talks with one eye shut. You know, it's like, because you're always looking into the sun. And he was trying to make eye contact with me with his one eye that was open. And he just came right out and said it. He said, "What do you think you're going to do when you get to Nashville?" And in a real rare moment of bravado, I just went, "I'm going to go up there and I'm going to write songs for my heroes like Emmylou Harris and Don Williams and Dolly Parton." And he winked his other eye and looked at me like, "Poor fella. Must be the heat. He's delusional." But anyway, as fate would have it, it only took 30 years. But all three of those artists have cut this next song. And in addition to, and Patty Loveless also cut it. And recently, Lainey Wilson and Charlie Worsham did a duet of it. But I will tell you this, to all the dads out there, I have two beautiful and brilliant daughters. And the old man has never really been cool a day in his life, except one. And that was the day I got to tell him that Dolly Parton cut my song. And for a moment, I was cool. Us down by higher elements, and you might think he failed. We're not copper for 1 penny or even iron for 1 nail, and $1 would be plenty to buy 20 of us, until true love gets added to these handfuls of dust. Sons of the riches and the poorest of us. True love makes priceless the worthless. Whenever love gets added to these handfuls of dust. John actually heard words today that I don't know that any other accordion player has ever heard. Jared, our magnificent sound man, said, "Could you turn the accordion up?" I guarantee you those words have never come together in a sentence like that. What we got? Oh, yeah.
Tony, I'll never forget it.
Yeah, well. Context, John. Yes. You heard about the accordion player who left his car unlocked, came back, and there were two of them in it. I grew up on Tybee, and we used to have some doozies of get-togethers, real wingdings. I had a couple of uncles who would show up and really get the fun started, if you know what I mean. And it got wild. And I played this song for a lot of people and nobody got it. But Garth Brooks, the first time he heard it, he said, "Oh yeah, I get that." He said, "We never thought it was a party till the cops came." So, anyway, it's a song called "Kicking and Screaming." Well, I don't know what my uncle did, but he sure enough did it right. 'Cause they sure strung him up one Saturday night. He'd spent his whole life fussing, would have spent his last breath cussing, till he realized that the deal was really done. He started screaming hallelujah and trying to make peace with everyone. And there he was, kicking out and screaming, just like he came in. Yeah, kicking out and screaming, all the way to the bitter end. Why ain't it funny how we come and kick and giddy up, go out hollering, whoa. Yeah, we don't never want to be him, then we don't never want to go. You take me, for example. I could hear them church bells ringing. To my best man, I was clinging, screaming, "If you love me, brother, don't let me go." Yeah, then the whole scene was repeated. 2 years later, I begged and I pleaded. I said, "Now, darling, come on, you don't want to let me go." You know I didn't want to do it, but I sure don't want to see it come undone. And there I was, kicking and screaming, just like I came in. Kicking and screaming, all the way to the bitter end. Now ain't it funny how we come and kick and giddy up, or go out hollering, whoa, whoa. We don't ever want to be here. Yeah, we don't never want to go. still kicking and screaming all the way to the bitter end. Now ain't it funny how we coming, kicking, giddy up, but going hollering. We never wanna be out. Then we don't never wanna go. No, no, we never wanna be out. Then we don't never wanna go.
What do you think so far? You having fun? You're going places, kid. You're good. You're good. Hey, would you join me in thanking some wonderful people that make all these shows possible? The reason women around the world are depressed right now, our audio engineer, Jared Knable, who's newly engaged. Jared, thank you for making it sound good. Our audio team had a curveball thrown at them late last night, early this morning, and a whole audio team led by Jared. I want to thank Brian Stevens and Arden Johnson for stepping up big time just to get the sound happening tonight. Thank you all very, very much. Our lighting designer making the cool backdrop back there, Mr. Brian Patterson, along with Parker Rawson. Thank you, guys. Our wonderful crew that greets you here, Sawyer, Ashlyn, Logan, walking you to your tables. Man, that's one of my favorite parts of Home by Dark is those folks greeting you. Outstanding folks. Thank y'all. Tony, this just came out in Top Cigar magazine, but they listed the top 10 songwriter parking teams in the country, and Home by Dark's parking team, headed up by DJ over there, David Johns and his crew, they won #1 in the country. It's true. Very true story.
DJ will remember where you parked even if you don't.
Very true. And man, don't the flowers look incredible out there? Thank you, Scott Chatham Landscaping. That looks amazing out there. Let's see. Hey, John, that was a beautiful song, by the way. I really liked that. That was fantastic. I want some sort of introspective, avant-garde birthday background music. What do you got for me? Oh, it's fantastic. Exactly what I would have played if I could play like that. Okay, now I'm just depressed. So maybe we just we'll go to traditional happy birthday would be at this point. So happy birthday here on NPR, your Atlanta NPR station. Tonight, 78 degrees, partly cloudy. Winds out of the southeast at 4 miles per hour. Stay tuned, coming up. Jazz Retro coming up. Jazz from the 1941-42 October era. Sorry. Happy birthday to Karen and Gary Moore. Happy birthday over here, you guys. Come down and pick up your free Buick right over here, I think. Okay, enough of that one. Happy birthday, George Huberton. Oh, right there. Thank you, George. Happy birthday. One of our dear, wonderful longtime supporters and friends of Home by Dark, Francis Swenson. Happy birthday, Francis. Love you guys. I just met this young lady for the first time, but one of the coolest names ever. Happy birthday, Penny Flowers. Very cool. Isn't that a great name, Penny Flowers? You know what? You could go on tour with her. Just Tony Arata and Penny Flowers. I'd buy a ticket to that. That's pretty cool. Oh, this is a great name too. Wow. Happy birthday, April Toms. April Toms, what a cool name. Happy birthday, everybody. Glad you're spending it with Home by Dark. We're honored. We got some shows coming up. Next Saturday night, right down the street at Brook Street Park, August 10th, we got the fabulous Jesse Terry and Marsha Ramirez joining us at Brook Street Park. We're back here September 7th with Georgia Middleman, who many of y'all know and love, and her husband playing for the first time here at Home by Dark. Another Nashville Songwriters Hall of Fame member, Mr. Gary Burr, will be with us that night as well. I got a few seats left. September 14th, back at Brook Street Park for our last show of the year out there with the Young Fables. If you haven't heard them, you need to hear them. They're incredible. And then we added a show right here to benefit a school in Kenya, Divine Providence Training Center. And it's going to be a fabulous night. My buddies J.P. Williams and Emily Shackleton, September 21st will be here. We're not selling tickets for that. The nonprofit is, but you go to our website. They'll link you over there. We would love to have you that night. And then we'll wrap up the year 2024 right here, October 5th, with the fabulous Cindy Morgan and Tommy Sims will be here, y'all. Can you believe that? That's pretty cool. I ain't coming back, I know. If y'all enjoyed, I know what I wanted to do. We normally have a wireless microphone where I can run around back there, but I thought it'd be cool. We don't get very many opportunities to ask questions of a Nashville Songwriters Hall of Fame guy. But I can't really run around because I'm tied up. But front row, I would love to have, I know a couple of y'all are Tony fans. If you got a question, I'm going to take like 2 or 3. It'd be fun to put them on the spot.
No math, no science.
No math, no science. But I know this is Jim. He's a big fan of Tony Arata.
Hey, Tony.
Hey, Jim.
I'm a big bluegrass fan.
Yeah.
And because I went there a couple of years ago, I was looking at the lineup for the Blue Highway Bluegrass Festival in Big Stone Gap, Virginia.
Yes.
And I was looking at the program, and the very first thing in the program is a songwriter's workshop with Tony Arata.
Really?
And I thought, he's come over to the dark side. So my question is, and you've already answered it with the Dolly Parton song, are you a bluegrass fan, and has bluegrass ever influenced your songwriting? And that accordion could have been a fiddle.
Wow. What a great question. That is so interesting. You know, I am doing the Blue Highway Festival, and it was very odd for me to show up there last year because Steve and all these people up here, these are musicians, these are real players. And when you go to places like Big Stone, it's a bluegrass festival, everybody there is a ringer. I mean, they're all just blistering. I'm talking about the toddlers, the people with walkers. I mean, all of them play next level. And so, but they asked me if I'd come and represent as a songwriter. And I said, now that I can do. Just don't ask me to play guitar in front of anybody. But it was really a remarkable experience. And I know I'm very dear friends with a lot of the people in Blue Highway, Tim Stafford and that crew. And last year, Daryl Scott played, and my friend Ed Snodderly. And so we just held a workshop, and the most discouraging thing is all these people showed up and how good they were. And I don't need any more competition, to be perfectly honest with you. And I told them all to go home. No, but anyway, they asked me back, but I thank you. And yes, I've always loved bluegrass. I just never could play it. And but I have, for whatever reason, I've had some big acts cut my songs, and they never found out I don't play bluegrass, I guess, but it worked out. Mountain Heart has done some, yeah.
Good question, Jim. Thank you. Anybody in the front row want to ask Tony Arata questions? Your one and only chance. Dave, anybody? No? Asking for money? Anything? Oh, yeah. Yeah. Why don't you come up here, since I can't go down there? I feel like, remember the old Phil Donahue show? Tell us what you think of Richard Nixon.
Not really a question. It was just a story that you told when I heard you here before about, I think it's when you told your parents or your mother maybe when you were going to go to Nashville and they thought you had maybe lost your mind.
Oh, yeah.
Then, yeah.
Yeah.
I love that story.
Oh, well,
Tell the story about losing your mind, Tony. That'd be great.
it happens daily. No, really, when Jamie and I were packing up the little U-Haul, leaving Thunderbolt, we had 9 pieces of furniture, 9 things. That was it. But my mama kept Jamie company in the little apartment, and my father never left my side. He stood out there in the parking lot the whole time I was loading up the truck. And when I pulled the door down and locked it and turned around, and I'll never forget it. My little daddy put his arm around me and he said, "Son, I think you've lost your damn mind." And those words sustained me all these years in Nashville. And he was right. But anyway, we went anyway, and I'm sure glad we did. I've said it many times, and I'll probably say it again before the night's over with. If we hadn't gone and we hadn't had some songs, I'd have never met all the good people that I have as a result of those songs. And for that alone, it's been worth it. So thank you.
And your buddy back there, Michael Hacklich, requested a song, one of my favorites too, and called Satisfied Mind. I thought you should sing that right now.
I sure will. Michael, thank you so very much for always remembering this song. Here's where this one came from. Sometimes you just get tired of making stuff up, and you just decide you just want to write something down that you know to be true. And I had witnessed absolute bravery with a friend's passing, which is the impetus for this song. It does have a lighter note, though. When I first moved to Nashville, I thought everybody else had moved there from Texas because everybody I met was from Texas. And they're proud of their state. They love them some Texas. And then about 3 years went by, and I got a lot of songs recorded, and they had one thing in common. They were all Texas artists. They were Leroy Parnell and Clay Walker and Delbert McClinton and Don Williams and Hal Ketchum. And I started thinking, I love me some Texas too. But my dear friend, departed friend, Mr. Hal Ketchum, was kind enough to record this. And thank you, Michael. Now many more miles were behind him than he had left to go. He's closing in upon that last one that we all must walk alone. It's the one across the end of the line. So we held on and we told stories of the good and bad and all, of the power and the glory and the lonely days that crawl. And we prayed heaven will hold true love and a satisfied mind. He said, I ain't afraid of dying, 'cause I know there's something worse. Like when you have to see your reason for living go first, and you get left behind. Now some can't think of nothing better than to live this life forever, but I never wanted no more than was mine. And then to lay down someday and go home with a satisfied mind. He said, don't you look into the darkness if you want to see true black. Look into a morning's brightness when love ain't coming back, and you will find right there the darkness that blinds. And don't think wealth is ever having all you want all to yourself. It is found when you are giving what you have to someone else. And the only difference in the rich and the poor is a satisfied mind. And one light began to fade as one grew brighter, and he said, I ain't afraid of dying, 'cause I know there's something worse. Like when you have to see your reason for living go first, and you get left behind. Some can't think of nothing better than to live this life forever, but I never wanted no more than was mine. And than to lay down someday and go home. I wanna lay down some sweet day and go home with a satisfied mind. Thank y'all so very much. Thank you. You mentioned bluegrass. Well, I knew one of the most famous bluegrass families there ever were. I wrote a lot of songs with my dear friend, Mr. Gary Scruggs. And we got together one day over at his house, and we couldn't think of anything. So I said, well, Gary, why don't we write one for your daddy? And Gary lit a cigarette and he said, why would we do that? We neither one play the banjo. And I said, well, Gary, for goodness sakes, man, we lie for a living. We make stuff up. We can do this. We'll just pretend like we do and we'll write something for your old man. So we had a good time writing this song, and it's always meant a lot to me because I wrote it with my buddy. And after we finished it, he said, well, I got to drop some stuff off at Mom and Daddy's. Why don't you ride over there and we'll go play it for the old man. So we went over to Earl and Louise's, and I got to play the song for his daddy. And his daddy looked at me and he said, why would y'all do that? Y'all neither one play the banjo. But we did, and I'll always be grateful. The shadows in these summer fields ain't quite as long as they were before. I feel the heat upon my back, but I know there's some cold nights in store. Well, it ain't all at once, it just slowly slips away, till one day it ain't summer anymore. And it won't be long, it's just this side of gone. Last night as she lay sleeping, I could tell it wasn't me she was dreaming of. I'd give all the world if I could just get our world back the way it was. But instead there's less and less of that world left every time that the sun comes up. And it won't be long, just this side gone. Well, no matter how you struggle, it's against a cold eventual you'll strain. You'll never see it coming, you're just pretty sure something here has changed. Until one day you're gonna wake up and realize more is faded than remains. And it won't be long, just this side of gone. See her now, I know her, I can read her like a book. She's staring at that photograph that upon our wedding day we took. Back then we were both looking forward, but now I'm afraid she's just taking one last look. And it won't be long, just this side of gone. No matter how you struggle, it's against some cold eventual you'll strain. see it coming. You're just pretty sure that something here has changed. Until one day you're gonna wake up and realize more is faded than remains. And it won't be long, just this side of gone. The shadows in these summer fields ain't quite as long as they were before. Thank you very much. Thank y'all. I had an odd thing happen some years ago. Paramount Pictures was putting a movie together, and they came to Nashville and they commissioned writers to submit songs, to write songs for the soundtrack for the album. And so I met with this guy from Paramount, and he said, what we're going to do is we're going to pay you to write a song for the movie. And I said, let me get this straight. You're going to pay me before you even hear the song, and it's going to be in a movie? And he said, yes. And I said, okay. He said, I want to get you a script. I said, I won't need the script. I said, we just had our second child. I don't care if it's Nightmare on Elm Street. I'll write your song. Don't worry about it. And I did. That was my one brush with Hollywood. But what I remember most about the whole experience was taking all my family to see the movie. And my big brother sat right behind me. And all of about 11 seconds of this song was in the movie. And I'd paid for the popcorn, the tickets, everything. But I'll always remember my brother slapping me on the back of the head and saying, I want my money back. Anybody ever see a movie thing called Love? Well, there you have it, right there. There you have it. There's the problem. That's why, thank goodness, I got the money up front. Somebody to change, and the other half praying to God that they never would. And all that got me was twice as lost when it all turned out the same. But all that begging finally did somebody good. I would dream all night of a day that was gone, from the morning light, forever from now on. Gonna do my dreaming with my eyes wide open. Gonna do my looking back with my eyes closed. And do some loving, spend a whole life hoping. In the end we're left with the one we chose. I'll do my dreaming with my eyes wide open. Mr. Clay Walker, thank y'all very much. Give me just a second here. I've seen people do this. I always wanted to try it and see if I could do it without breaking something. We'll see. It's early yet. I'm going to try to get through this one. There's a line in here about believing in a higher power, and I do, because I've literally witnessed it twice. I witnessed it with the birth of both my daughters, and they're here tonight. And I don't know two more brilliant people on earth or better people on earth. And I love them with all my heart. And this is for them. It was written about them. I swear with all my heart this letter holds all that I know to be true. The sweetest day of all for me was when I first laid eyes on you. I believed in a higher power, for I was holding his finest hour, and my first prayer was, may you find your way. I was always someone every time I stood by your side. With a heart about to break from all the love I held deep inside. To put it simply, life's very essence was always found when I was in your presence. And my every prayer's been, may you find your way. May you find your way. If this letter ever brings you to the place where I lay in fields of stone, I will hope that it is with your loved ones and babies of your own. Kiss those angels and say your amens. You'll have answered all I asked for when with my very last prayer. May you find your way. May you find your way. May you find your way. For my Katie and my Allison. You know, it never escapes me just to look up and see people. I know it's been a while, but COVID, I don't ever want to do that again. I can tell you that. I remember it was like Don McLean saying the day the music died, and it was just somebody had flicked the switch and it was over, and I didn't know if I'd ever be back again or if music would ever be back again. So every time I get a chance to stand in front of good people like you, it means the world to me. The Bluebird tried to stay afloat doing anything they could, so they were doing these Zoom concerts, and I'm too old for that. I have sitting in a room all alone with a cameraman singing to who, I don't even know who, to. And I told Jamie, I said, I've played for some empty rooms, don't get me wrong, but this was a bridge too far. But I remember walking back around the kitchen area of the Bluebird, and there were all these pictures on the wall of all the people who've come through there that have worked there. And it just struck me. And some years later, I wrote this. Because there are those things that remind you of who you are and why you're here. And I'd also like to send this out. Sadly, we've lost a lot of troubadours of late. And they're friends of mine. Lost my buddy Malcolm Holcomb, my friend Waylon Holyfield, and recently a dear friend, Mr. Mark Jimino. And then a couple of weeks ago, a man who was one of my heroes, Mr. Dave Loggins. And those four represent everything that inspired me. And I'm so grateful to have known them. This is the wrong guitar. Mark Jimino's laughing right now. Like a well-oiled machine, ain't it? As smooth as silk. half-empty bottle, and a handful of pictures. Most of these evenings, that's about how I'll be found, running full throttle down some page of my history, trying hard to get back to where I once thought I was bound. But these old Polaroids I'm holding, about as close as I'll ever be. But when I remember you for a moment, I almost remember me. You hold them nearer, and somehow you still can't find them. It's like they're hidden in some myriad concealed, held to a mirror, and you see right where they're hiding. And just like magic, it's all suddenly revealed. Well, you're that proper lens I'm using, the sweeter light that lets me see. And when I remember you for a moment, I almost remember me. In the flash of a long gone minute, sweet forever's there, and I'm right there in it. I believe because I've seen it. Some I can see 'cause I believe. When I remember you for a moment, I almost remember me. When I remember you for a moment, I almost remember me. Well, I ran the drummer off.
Hey, Tony, how you doing?
Jimmy, where'd you go?
I'm over here, Tony. How you doing? Over here.
Oh, man, I think I just had a flashback.
Man, I just thought, this is our third year out here, and I have never seen or heard the show before. And I've bragged on him before, but Jared, this sounds amazing out here. Yeah. Absolutely amazing. And Brian, that looks incredible. Yeah. That's incredible. Isn't this cool? Man. I just wanted tonight, I wanted to be with you. I wanted to be amongst you. You know, I've been on stages my whole life, and this is much more comfortable. I like being around you people. This is pretty cool. I just visited my father up in Ohio. He's 89, and he's trending toward the end of his life. And so when I visit him, we wake up in the morning, and we just talk for hours. And he tells me these stories of being younger, and it's just story after story. And I was sitting there listening to Tony, watching and being amongst all of you. And I can tell you this, when I'm 89, if I make it, you are the story I'm going to tell. This is amazing. This is awesome. Thank you very, very much. Thank you for supporting Home by Dark. Thank you for supporting original music and the family of songwriters that we bring in here. I can never thank you enough. This is more than I ever imagined when we started this in 2007. But you have changed all of our lives on that stage, and I just really, really, really appreciate it. This is a song I've been singing pretty much since we started Home by Dark. Many of y'all know it, so I don't get to stand amongst you very much, but man, I would love y'all to sing this with me. So just know you guys, this is amazing to me. I'm just floored. I love you. I appreciate you. At the beginning of the show, when I said you're surrounded by people that care about you, I promise you, you're surrounded by people that care about you.
Absolutely.
Thank you all. I'm grateful to play my piano and sing these songs from my heart. I'm grateful to all you fine people for letting us be a part of your life. La da 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 da. And I hope that I'll see you again real soon. But if it's our last time on earth to meet, may the gold on the roads of heaven feel good on the soles of our feet. I'm grateful to Mother and Father, and for the love of my wife. I'm grateful to live in this country where soldiers are willing to die for us. Yeah. La da da da. And I hope that I'll see you again real soon. If it's our last time on earth to meet, may the gold on the roads of heaven feel good on the soles of our feet. May the gold on the roads of heaven feel good on the soles of our feet. Grateful that I have a Savior, and that He knows me by name. I'm grateful that heaven is closer than it was yesterday. La da da da. La da da da. And I hope that I'll see you again real soon. But if it's our last time on earth to meet, may the gold on the roads of heaven feel good on the soles of our feet. Of our feet, yeah. And I hope that I'll see you again real soon. But if it's our last time on earth to meet, may the gold on the roads of heaven feel good on the soles of our feet. May the gold on the roads of heaven feel good on the soles of our feet.
James Casto. Yeah.
Thank you all very much. If you enjoyed my friend Tony Arata, show him some love.
Hey, Tony,
Yes,
you were talking about COVID a few minutes ago.
yes.
Vanessa and I sang for so many funerals during COVID, it almost felt like it would never end. And I don't even know if you remember this, but you and Jimmy and I were having a conversation, and I'm a woman of faith. Those of you who know me, you already know I'm a church girl. I ain't ashamed of it. You already know who I am. But I got to tell you something. I got to the place where I wondered if it was ever going to change, if we'd ever get to sing again. And you said, I don't know when, but don't be afraid because we're going to sing together again. It was the first time that I felt like it was going to end and we would sing again. So I love you for it. Thank you. Thank you.
It's very true. I still owe Jimmy some money, so that's why we're singing again. Not to diminish that sweet story. I will tell you this much. I sure enjoy getting to sing for y'all. It means the world to me. But I will be honest with you. Didn't always get to sing in places quite this nice, for people this nice. And some of the joints I played, wow. It was frightening. And sometimes the only thing you could do to ensure the band get out of there safely was to keep everybody on the dance floor, because that way you could keep a head count. And that's usually where the lights were, and you could kind of keep an eye on them. It's when they wandered off into the shadows, that's when the real merrymaking started. So we would keep them on the dance floors for as long as we could. We might play That's the Way Love Goes by Merle Haggard for an hour. But at some point during the night, the ringleader would come up and he'd give you like a signal, like, come on, let's go. Let's pick it up. Pick it up, play something good. Play something fast. And thankfully, one thing that never failed was Delbert McClinton. If you could play 2 more bottles of wine, you might get out of there alive. So I've sang 2 more bottles of wine the better part of my youth. And I finally got a chance when Delbert cut one of my songs, I got a chance to thank him. I said, it means the world to me to have one of my heroes cut the song. And I said, but Delbert, I said, I hope you know this. I said, but I wish I had $1 for every time I've sang 2 more bottles of wine. And as only a good Texan could do, he looked at me and he said, well, pal, I do. This is a song I wrote for him on his Never Been Rocked Enough album. It's called I Used to Worry. I used to worry where all of my money had gone, till I wound up with nothing to spend my money on. I used to guard my time like diamonds and pearls, till I wound up with nothing but all the time and nowhere. Just to think I used to worry about things like that, so worried about the rich and skinny, that I wound up going fat. So nowadays, about where son, where's your mind been at? Can't believe I used to worry about things like that. I used to worry about making a grade, clinging out with the right kind of people and playing their games. Throw me a party, they'd be wall to wall, but in a lonely minute, I had no one to call. I just think I used to worry about things like that, so worried about the rich and skinny, that I wound up pouring fat. Nowadays, the right person, where's your mind been at? I can't believe I wound up with nothing to spend my money on. Yeah, just think I used to worry about things like that. So worried about the rich and skinny that I wound up going fat. So now when things are right there, Tony, where's your mind in it? I can't believe I used to worry about things like that. Can't believe I ever worried about things like that. I wanna think I ever worried about things like that. This is Steve Cunningham.
Tony, we love you. Thank you so much. One more time, y'all, for the legendary Mr. Tony Arata. We love you, brother.
Thank y'all so very much for the kindness. It never fails whenever I come down this way, and I thank y'all so very much. I think I lived in Nashville for 3 years before I ever asked somebody, where are you from? And they said, Nashville. Everybody's from somewhere else. And so everybody, to paraphrase the great Tom T. Hall, who sang a song called That's How I Got to Memphis, everybody has their That's How I Got to Nashville story, including me. Mine's real short, won't take long. Here it goes. Once upon a time, my wife Jamie looked across our little dining room table there in Thunderbolt, Georgia, and she said, I've been doing some thinking. She said, we can be broke anywhere. She said, why don't we go be broke in Nashville, where maybe somebody might actually hear some of these songs you seem determined to write. And 30 days later from that conversation, we were Nashvillians. The end. So, don't mean to embarrass anybody, but I'll tell you the truth. I'd have never had anything if I'd have never had her. Looking back on the memory of the dance we shared beneath the stars above, when for a moment all the world was right. How could I have known that you'd ever say goodbye? And now I'm glad I didn't know the way it all would end, the way it all would go. Our lives are better left to chance. I could have missed the pain, but I'd have had to miss the dance. Holding you, I held everything for a moment. Wasn't I the king? But if I'd only known how that king would fall, and now who's to say? You know I might have changed it all. So now I'm glad I didn't know the way it all would end, the way it all would go. Our lives chance, I could have missed the pain, but I'd have had to miss the dance. Our lives are better left to chance. I could have missed the pain, but I'd have had to miss the dance. Thank you so very much, my dear friends. Thank y'all very much.
God bless you. See you next time. Love y'all. Thank you, Tony.